Peace, this is Tim with another self-mastery coaching session. Welcome. Now, tonight on this one, we're going to be talking about emancipation or liberation. Now, this can, of course, all these messages are layered, so you get what you can eat off of it and work with. And then if you could apply a little bit deeper, because not only in self-mastery do we understand that, of course, the work on the self is the first thing, but these very principles can also be applied as a community, as a tribe, and etc. So the question I often I ask is, do we want emancipation or do we want liberation? Now, the first question is, you got to figure out what it is that's holding you back. What is it that's oppressing you? What habit? What deep emotional trauma? What pain? What habit? Is it alcohol and drugs? Is it tobacco? Is it bad relationships? Once you figure out what it is that is holding you hostage, that is holding you in slavery, holding you in bondage, then you got to decide, do you want liberation or emancipation? Many of us have settled for emancipation. What does emancipation mean? Better yet, I'm going to give you an example of emancipation. All right. Emancipation basically means to free from the hand. Free from the hand. But you are still up under the influence of this person, this place, or this thing. And it still can oppress you at its will, because you have not been given freedom. You have been emancipated. You have been released from their hand. And a prime example of this that I often use is the example of me walking my dog. Every day when I walk my dog, I find a field where I can let my dog go. I can emancipate my dog. I could take him off the leash and allow him to run around this area. But he knows his limits because I am the master. And he knows that when I call, it's time for him to return to the leash. I emancipated him. Now, liberation is a very special thing. Liberation cannot be given. Liberation must be taken. So, for example, if my dog wanted to liberate himself, my dog would have one or two choices. Either when I let him go, he could run for the hills and never look back and take the chances of finding a worse owner, I guess. Or fight to the death and stay free. Or he could turn around and immediately kill me, attack me, let me know that he is no longer my dog and he is no longer up under my subjugation. Now, my question is, do you want to be emancipated from your problems in your life, or do you want to be liberated? Now, let me read you something from history, because when I started looking at this, I wanted to take it a little bit deeper, because the question bothered me in American history. Why didn't America ask for emancipation from England? Why didn't they? They didn't ask for emancipation. They didn't talk about emancipation. Patrick Henry said, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Think about that. Give me liberty, give me freedom, or give me death. What are you fighting against? What is it in your life that you need to liberate yourself from so that you can exercise your full power? Because emancipation lulls you into a sleep, and you honestly think that you are free, but you are constantly oppressed by that thing that you was trying to escape. If you honestly think that somebody who is benefiting from your labor, something that is benefiting from your cash flow, something that is benefiting from your life energy is going to let you go, you got another thing coming. Now, Patrick Henry also said something else that was very interesting because I researched this and I read the whole speech, and the speech is dope. For anybody that's trying to break a bond, you got to really look at the mind state that this individual had to be in. It goes back to what Professor X used to say on the X-Climb albums: freedom or death. Freedom or death. Think about the power of that statement, and think about if you applied that to your life, if you applied that to those bad relationships, if you applied that to those bad habits, if you applied that to that psychological pain, if you applied that to this job that you hate, freedom or death, what couldn't you accomplish? What would stand in your way? What would be foolish enough to stand in your way? Now I want you to pay attention to this last quote before I finish this session. He was addressing the Continental Congress in 1774, and they was debating about what they should do. And he made this statement, and listen very closely because this applies to you and your life, and this applies to our communities all over this country and all over this world, all oppressed people. It is natural to man to indulge in an illusion of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of the siren till she transforms us into beasts. Now for me, that's a perfect description of emancipation. When something that is oppressing you allows you to walk around and still be on a leash, it has total control of you, and you start to believe and you start to hope, but the hope is an illusion. You have given in to the call of the siren. You are one of those that wanted freedom without a struggle. You wanted your water, your waves without the crash, and you wanted rainstorms without thunder, as Frederick Douglass would say. With liberation, there has to be some conflict. First is internal conflict, then there's external conflict. And through those conflicts, we are transformed. Don't give in to the illusion of hope. The illusion of hope that maybe that significant other that's giving you problems will leave, or maybe the habit to just jump off or fall off, or maybe you'll get a little bit more control over it. No, you've been emancipated. You have fallen for the illusion. You have listened to the song of the siren, and we're going to talk about the siren on another one of these mastery CDs. You have fallen for the song of the siren, and you have been transformed to a beast. Now, when they say a beast, that means something that is mindless and that is able to be controlled by an outside force, which is totally against self. We'll get into that. But this has been how Tim with the self-mastery coaching session. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful. If you have questions or comments, feel free to hit me up. You can hit me up on any of my web pages. You can look me up on Facebook, Giami Tribe. You can look me up at Hatim, H-A-2-T-I-M. You can email me. If you got my number, call me, text me. I don't care. Let's have conversation because that's why I do this. So with that, I say peace.